Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Galit Speaks podcast. I'm super excited for our guest today. It is Nellah Mx. She was born in a small town in Central Slovakia. She always excelled in academic and extracurricular activities, listened to her parents, and strived to conform to societal rules and labels. Her passion was dance, and by the age of 16, she was managing her own dance group and leading personal and group trainings. Later in life, she was mesmerized by spirituality, and with the guidance of a psychologist, she began practicing various techniques, including meditations, breath work, holotropic breathing, and energy work. After the fall of communism, she decided to try her luck and enter the world of big money, the entertainment industry. She traveled to Germany, Switzerland, Austria, Italy, and Japan, and gradually became a dancer in gentlemen's clubs, where she stumbled into the life of substance abuse, trauma, and superficiality. After a near death experience, she made a sudden decision to leave the industry. To survive and pull herself out of the darkness, she seized an opportunity to relocate to the United States, intending to change her life. She worked through the language barrier and speech difficulties to complete a master's degree in forensic psychology, constantly transforming and improving herself. Thank you so much for being here, Nella. I'm so excited for this conversation.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. And this was a really nice intro. Thank you for that.
Yeah, there's so much about you that I want to talk about, but I want to hear a little bit more about your story and, you know, how you ended up in, working as a dancer in gentlemen's clubs.
Yeah, this is a very good question, right? So I actually wrote the book about my story from the entertainment industry, and the book is available and now. But it is my autobiography, and it shows the industry and how you can easily get in, how young girls are brainwashed, by this commercialism, of this like woman's body, and how it all plays out. So for me, I think it started kind of like early, that I was getting compliments on my looks all the time. All the time, a man was just approach me and come and compliment certain parts of my body or how I looked, and they would always ask me to do certain things, to be undressed, to be less dressed, to take naked pictures, and so on. So I think it started there, and then since I was a dancer and I was doing jazz dance, I loved the stage. So I actually met a friend, and she was in this industry in Greece, and she was just like, "Oh, come with me," So I did, and that was the start, and that wasn't very good start, to be honest. I was shocked at the beginning.
Yeah. So, what about it led you into a life of substance abuse and trauma?
Yeah, so basically what I thought and what I was told was that I would be dancing and be paid for that. That like I would undress, and that was it. No, that's not that. But what happens after that is that the girls have to drink, and alcohol is a must, because that's how the club makes money. So like if you have like 4 or 5 bottles of champagne every night, you get addicted, right? Yeah. And then obviously drugs come with it. So for us, it was mostly cocaine. Uh, yeah, and uh, and besides that, there are lap dances and private dances that a girl has to do. So like that's a completely different story, because in some clubs, well, every club has some rules, but all clubs break them, all of them. And there are basically no rules on what is done in the club, what is done in the private room. And many times it's not dancing. Many times clients want more, and it's unwanted touching, or it's certain sexual activity, that you don't want to do, or you do. It's a constant game, to really to like make them money and survive.
Right.
So I think it's not easy money. You know how it is always presented as an easy money. Is not easy. You basically put yourself into it. Put in there your soul, your body, your like mental health, emotions, and that's not easy.
Yeah. And what did that do to you mentally and emotionally, being confronted with um, a constant want from people to do things that you didn't want to do?
Yeah, so that's where the alcohol and drug comes to play, right? Because it easier to do stuff when you are drunk, but then, like, how can you even control the situation? You cannot control anything. Yeah, so yeah, it was really hard. I feel like I completely lost myself, and I became addicted to money. Really, I was just counting money all the time, and when the number was going up, I was happy. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was really seriously all about the money, and that's how the industry brainwashes you. That's like that becomes the most important thing in the world, and your emotions basically don't exist. You are a commodity. You put yourself into a situation where you are commodity. So, like, and people treat you like that, like commodity. They pay, and they want something for the money. Yeah, so it's just very uh, difficult and unpleasant situation to be in. To as a person, to be treated as an object. It's just very hard.
Yeah. So what changed for you and when? So I know that you had a near death experience. Would you be open to sharing what happened?
Oh yes, definitely. Yeah. So I think I was going really like on this downward spiral for some time. Meaning I was working a lot. I had many clients, and like I was just starting doing more and more for the money, and meeting men on the outside. That's another thing, that you are also set up to meet men on the outside, which I never wanted to do. Yeah, but I needed the money. I had that lifestyle. Yeah. So what happened? I think that was really the last drop, that I actually went to one party, and somebody gave me some kind of drugs, and I think they were laced, which actually happens a lot. Uh, and I had full blown withdrawal symptoms after one use. And that was like for a week. And then I fainted, and I fainted in the club, and I just lied on the floor, and I couldn't move, and I couldn't come to myself, and then I saw my soul coming out of my head. And I know this sounds kind of weird, but it really happened to me. And it was just kind of like hanging above my head, and then it came back. And then I could finally move. And that was the point when I said that that's it. I can't do this anymore. And I just packed my stuff and left. That was in Switzerland.
So
Yeah.
how did you leave? What was, you know, I know that you eventually made it to America, but what was that journey like?
Yes, I left really like impulsively, but also I knew that I had some money, saved. I knew that I would survive maybe like for like 1 year without like doing anything. Uh, so yes, I just take my stuff and left it the next day. You can read my book is in there and all the details. Yeah, and yeah, I went back home and without any plan, without anything, and I think that's what is really like very very typical for like people in this industry. There is no plan B. They don't think about future or like what's gonna happen next. Yes, I left, and then I was thinking, oh shit, what am I gonna do now?
Yeah.
Because I couldn't do anything else. I didn't know how to do anything else. I just knew how to get money from men, and how to how to flirt, and how to kind of play these games, and how to give them the looks and the walk and everything. Yeah, so that that was what I knew. So I knew I would have to change completely, because all these behaviors become you. So yes, I worked really hard on changing myself, and I was observing myself really in detail, how I was acting, what I was doing, how I was behaving, especially with men, and I really like stopped these behaviors. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
because I
that was
think
hard.
that yeah, I think that once you're used to that kind of attention and used to being able to get what you want by using your body, it's very hard to release that then and learn how to do things with your own on your own 2 feet and with your own power. So it's really amazing that you were able to have that awareness and basically mentally pick yourself until you learned how to operate on a different level.
Yes, and I feel like I really climbed up from a deep black hole, and I still keep climbing, which is great. It never stops, but I'm so glad that I'm out of there. Yeah, and what helped me, I think, was that I actually remembered what was before the industry, before I went into stripping, and I actually remember myself being a different person. So like then I asked myself like, what the heck happened to me? Yeah, and then I was able to kind of see the dynamics and what I needed to change. And I think it was also because I've done a lot of spiritual work even before I went into the industry, and I started to work with a psychologist with whom we did a lot of spiritual work, meaning like meditations, relaxations, breath work, or like chakra work. So I knew all this. And when I was in the entertainment industry, I forgot about it. I stopped doing everything healthy. Yeah, and then when I was coming out, I was thinking like when was the time in my life when I felt the best, when I felt really strong and powerful, and that was the time when I worked out and when I did spiritual work. So I kind of picked up on that, and I started doing it again. But like that was much later. Yeah, and then I went to study psychology. Yeah, that was also uh, a big step to go back to school from stripping. Yeah, and just to get up in the morning, it was just impossible. I couldn't get up in the morning. I couldn't eat normally. I would just have like champagne for like breakfast. Yes, I really had to develop healthy habits, and I worked very hard to keep them. Yeah, so
Yeah.
like that was important.
Yeah. So why did you decide that you wanted to study psychology?
Yes, I think it was because of the background that I had, in spirituality and in working with psychologists. Yeah, so I think because of that, because I know that it can change your life, and I know that it can help, and I know that it helps people because it helped me and it changed my life. So yes, I think that was the main reason. Yeah, and then I decided to study forensics. I think that's because I just wanted to work with the most difficult people, and and those people you find or in jail or in psychiatric hospitals. So yeah, so I kind of accomplished that. Yes.
Yeah. What drew you towards the most difficult cases?
I don't know. I think I just like challenge, and I'm a challenge seeker, adrenaline seeker. So I think that's what it is. It's just me, but also I feel like I deal with the same people as before. It's just in different capacity, of course. Yeah, but yeah, I see all the drug dealers, gangsters. Yeah, that's my crowd. Yep. So
Yeah.
I understand them. I understand that lifestyle very well.
Yeah, I love that you were able to turn your experiences and what you're naturally drawn to into something positive, right? Because you took that same feeling of adrenaline that you were looking for, and instead you're using it to help the most challenging cases that the average person doesn't understand or isn't capable of helping.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for saying that. Yeah. Yep. It's kind of interesting connection. Yes. Yes, definitely. Yeah. And when you work with people, many times they feel like they are not understood, or like they feel isolated. That's how I felt. And as a stripper, I felt like I just couldn't tell anybody my story. There is a lot of judgment about this, and which is like many times incorrect. And it's based on the assumption that like, oh, you did it voluntarily, so like why are you complaining? Yeah, or stuff like that. Yeah, so I understand that, and I really honestly don't judge anybody. because I feel like anyone can be in any position, and you really don't know what's going to happen to you at any point in your life. So like that's like I think one of my main messages: don't judge anybody.
Yeah. And then what do you have a lot of clients that are other women that have been through the same kind of background that you have?
This is very interesting. I actually don't. I yeah, this is really, funny, but I work mostly with men, and I think that's kind of my thing. I've been always working with men, and men come to me, and men want to talk to me, and we have great conversations. And I think that's my destiny, really, to like work with men.
Yeah.
And like many men come to me with these issues because this affects everybody. This affects whole families, whole society. I have men coming to me all the time who are just desperate, who want, who have a family member, daughter, niece, or somebody who went into this industry, and they don't know what to do. And men are think I think are even more lost in this than we women are. And yeah, it's very hard for men to like take this too. Uh, yes, I hear these stories all the time, all the time.
Yeah. And what are some of the things that you do with your clients? Do you do breath work exercises and things like that?
Yes, so I'm a psychologist, so I have a knowledge of different types of therapies. So let's say cognitive behavioral, dialectic behavioral therapies, uh, and so on. But I went into coaching because I actually missed spirituality in psychology. That was the main reason that I wanted to use everything that I can and that I know with my clients. So I started to do coaching, and yeah, there was also one thing, because when you do spiritual work, you go through like different stages. So I came to the stage when I actually, when my last chakra opened. It's kind of like on your head, and at that moment, I felt like my head was burning, like it was in fire, and it just connected straight to the universe. And then I knew that now I can guide people, that now I can guide others. So like then I started coaching, and yeah, I use spirituality from the beginning, basically, because I believe that that's the key. Once you move to higher spiritual level, you start seeing things differently, and it changes you, and it changes your perception of things, and you see connections where you have not seen them before, and different things. You start feeling yourself. You start connecting to the universe, and that's just absolutely amazing. So I just recommend it to everyone. Meditations, breath work, chakra work. It doesn't have to be something hard. It can be like 10 minutes per day, and it can make a difference.
Yeah, it definitely does. And what I love about meditation, and I think that a lot of people don't realize this, you don't have to do it the same way that everyone else is doing it. You don't have to sit in a dark room with, with like a specific music on and not be guided through it. Like, there are so many ways that you can meditate. I personally do meditation every day on my walks. So I take a walk in the evening about an hour, and I have a series of guided meditations that I do while I walk. And it's a totally different experience than what I initially thought meditation was going to be like, but I know that that's something that works for me. So it's very much also, by person, right? My safe, secure place is not the same safe, secure place as someone else. So when people are trying to find that spot for them or the right way to do it, what's the best way that they can go about it?
Thank you so much for saying this, because this is so true. When you say like meditations, people start, oh my gosh, now I'm gonna sit for like 45 minutes, doing nothing and staring to a wall. No, it's not like that. And there are so many types of meditations. And so, like, what I do with my clients, I kind of like customize it, for every person. Because if I have a person who is hyperactive, for example, who can just stop thinking, that I do something different than with somebody who is, for example, low, low mood, mellow. Yeah. So yeah, so like that's what I do. I kind of like tailor it to you, to your needs, to who you are, and it's based on you and your responses. So I also want to say that, like, I do breath work. It brings up many emotions, and especially negative emotions. There is this perception that like this always will like make you feel good. No, no. Sometimes it will make you cry. Sometimes it might make you scream. Sometimes simply you will feel bad even for some days, but you need to go through that to process things, and that's the part of the process. And if you never face your negative emotions, then like it's always gonna be there in you, and it's gonna basically stop you from like progressing, or from like doing something else. So like because of that, it's so important.
Yeah, I definitely know that. A lot of people, they associate that with therapy, right? They associate crying and confronting things with therapy, but a lot of times with spirituality, people just think that it's going to be, higher vibration all the time, and like only good things, and I'm going to be happy, and I'm not going to think about the bad things in my life. But the truth is, with everything in life, you need to face the dark areas, and sometimes the exercises bring those dark areas up because you need to see them in order to break them.
Yes, exactly. Yes, and also, many times people say like, just be yourself. I I hate this statement, just like be yourself, because it implies that like until now you were not yourself, or like you who you were until now, so like that's you. I think that like you are yourself always, and everything that you do reflects you. However, maybe you don't have connection with your deep self, and like that's what you find through spirituality. You really find you and who you are. And I think that's so strong, because once you really really know who you are, then like you can do everything, really.
Yeah. It's all about, for me, it's all about understanding why I do the things the way that I do them, right?
Yeah,
I'm always me, but sometimes
interesting.
I'm
So you like to
reacting.
analyze yourself.
Yeah, I think about like, why am I reacting this way to what's happening? Like, what is inside me that's causing me to act like this? And
Hmm.
it doesn't always happen when it's happening, right? Because that would be amazing if I could like stop the reaction while it's happening. Usually it's after it happens, I'm going over it in my head and thinking like, why did I act like that? What did that trigger inside me? Because that's that's what I need to look at, right? Because
you
if I
know
yeah.
but that I love that, and that's amazing that you can do that, because most people don't look at themselves. Most people are just like, oh, he made me do that. Oh, this happened. So like just the fact that you look at yourself and you are able to kind of like analyze yourself self is amazing, and that's growth. That's how you grow as a person.
Yeah.
And
So
yeah, and that's great.
what are some exercises that people can do to get to the root of the issue, whatever is coming up for them?
Oh, to the root. Well, I this is all. Well, sometimes to get to the root takes long time. Some Sometimes it's a snap, you know. Sometimes simply something happens and you get it. Because of that, I don't really believe in something specific, that like you have to go through steps, or like something has to take some time. Now I think some people simply sometimes they don't get anything. For example, they are in like therapy for a year, didn't make any progress, and then suddenly something happens, and it all clicks. you know so it's hard to tell, really. And again, it's based on a person, on yeah, have you respond to things, and on your own, like inside, and self exploration. Yeah. Yeah, but I always recommend spiritual work. Yeah, and even sometimes what I do, I just look in the mirror, and I just, if you look into your eyes long enough, something's gonna show, something's gonna come up.
Yeah.
And like many times people start crying.
Yeah.
Many
That's
times they start laughing, or like they might feel small, they might feel old, uh, or like they might feel beautiful, and that's how you can also repair it. Also, you know maybe I look old to myself now, but I'm actually gorgeous, and I am a beautiful person, and stuff like that. there is so much to do, so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't want to limit, anybody, and like even myself, in like what I do. But it's definitely good at the beginning to have guidance, and guidance should be someone. I won't look that much at like experience. It's like, I think it's like more about connections. I'm like connection, and what kind of match you are. And if you feel good with someone, if it is a person who you will tell all your shit, then do it. That's how I feel. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that you brought up mirror work, like looking at yourself in the mirror, because that is something that was introduced to me maybe 5 years ago, and it's one of the hardest things that I've ever done. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's so uncomfortable, like
Yep.
to look at yourself in the mirror and to talk to yourself, and to tell yourself things. It is so, especially to look in your own eyes. I am one of the
Mm-hmm.
criers. Like I will get
Yeah.
there and like
Me
I
too.
start feeling uncomfortable, and then I'm crying and I'm trying to tell myself things, and it I had to let go of the part of me that was embarrassed. And I
Mm-hmm.
think it's a really good exercise, because when you're able to be that open when you're with yourself, you can be that open with other people.
Yeah. So what I like to do and how I do it is basically just don't think. Just let go and focus 100% on your eyes. Stare into your eyes. If like thoughts come, just like let them go by. They leave. Just like don't think. And then in this deep state, I also breathe like deeply. And then in this deep state, something comes up. Sometimes it's like something like I have a memory of my mom, somewhere, and that just brings up the whole grief after she died, again, and then I know that I have to still like work on it, and it's just, some things are just forever, it's gonna be always there,
Yeah.
but it's fine. That it's fine, and I can live with it. I accept it, and it is a part of me. And so the more you kind of like try to fight it, the more it's gonna be coming. Yeah. So like what I do, I just simply like I accept it and say bye to it, and I don't need you anymore, and I'm good. Yep.
So for your client, so I normally say that like I'm a big fan of seeing a therapist just in
Yeah.
general. And I know
Oh,
that
nice.
I think that everyone should have a therapist, even if you don't like have one at the current moment, but like that you've seen one in your life. I just think that that's something, like everyone needs someone to just be able to talk to. And what I really love is the difference between a therapist and a coach, right? Because like as a therapist, they can't tell you what to do. They're just there to really listen and try to, you know, subtly guide you by asking questions and giving you exercises and things like that. But with a coach, it's a different story, right? You get to actually tell people things that you see about them.
Well, like honestly, I never like tell like people what to do. That's not. our job, we just guide you that you actually see things yourself. Yeah, and I don't really. I always tell people, what I think, or like, I have, yeah, I have people who ask me like, what do you think about me, or like, man, that's how like typical. Would you date somebody like me? you know so like what do you say, if the guy is horrible, for example, you know it's like I'm I don't lie. I never lie. I say something like, listen, you need to work on some things, and like, maybe if you change some things, I might think about it, but like I never give this like fake answer. I think that's completely wrong. And I have people who tell me I fucked up, and I'm like, yes, you did. Yeah, yes, you did. So what are you gonna do now with it? You know, yeah. So because that's the starting point, and then it goes like, what we gonna do with it, and how can we manage it, and what can we do that his or her lifestyle improves. So yeah, but it's an interesting thing. People are so interesting. People have so many stories, and I love people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's yeah, I feel like most people realize that they need a therapist or they need a coach when they fuck up. When they've like hit that point where it's just like, oh, I messed up so bad and I do not know what I'm doing anymore. Is that what you see?
Yeah, or simply many times it's people who don't know why things always go wrong in their lives, or like uh, many times they experience some kind of difficult situation, for example, losses, loss of a child, loss of a partner, which is very, very hard to process. Yeah, or like things like that, and they simply cannot deal with it. Many times it's their closed ones who actually kind of like demand them to go to therapy. Yeah, otherwise they would never go. But like, these are really, really difficult patients, or like clients, because uh, the resistance is so high. Yeah, but I think I'm used to that very much. Yeah. I work with like personality disorders a lot, and severe mental illness. Yeah,
Yeah,
so those are my people.
yeah, where do you find your people?
Oh no, it's so like coaching, and it's like to be honest with you, it's mostly referrals, from like people. Some are from online, that like people come to me. Yeah, it depends. It can be like different sources. Yeah.
Yeah. And where are you located? Do you see people virtually or in person? How does it work with you?
Yes, I started to work virtually, online, Zoom usually. Yeah, uh, but now, since we are like after COVID, finally, yes, so I'm thinking to go back to actually in person practice, and yeah, I might do that. I love in-person contact, but then like virtual possibilities are so big. it's like you can have clients all over the world, really. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. And so, what is it about in person that speaks to you more than virtual?
I think that I can feel the energy of the person more.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah, that I can connect to them better. Yeah, because when you do like spiritual work, breath work and so on, it's good to see the person. Yeah, but I can see them on the camera, but I feel like in person is still better.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely something about, because I do a lot of work. I do all of my work pretty much virtually. But I love to have those in-person connections as well, just because, yeah, you do get a little bit more of a sense when you're virtual, like you see this just what's in the box, right?
Yeah,
Whereas like in
yeah.
person, you can see mannerisms, how they're sitting, if they're like
Oh
tense,
yeah.
clenched up, or if they're relaxed, and you can kind of cater things like that. With virtual, I feel like I know I do this, and so I know other people are doing this. Sometimes they're not necessarily focused on you, but they're focused on the picture of themselves that they see. And so they're like more hesitant about what they say because they can see themselves saying it. Is that
Yes,
something
you know,
you
I was actually thinking about this, how this affects a connection between people, because most people really stare at themselves, right? Yeah, so that but like in the real conversation, you don't see yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's very different. Yeah. Yeah. Also, I want to say that I actually have many clients who are high paid people, and they are interested in spirituality, because that's kind of the next step for them. It's like okay, fine, they have the money, so like what's next? What else is here in this world for us? And like this is the answer. Is the spirituality is to move to a higher spiritual level, and that is amazing. And like if you can do that and work on it and pay for it, that's amazing. Just do it.
Yeah. So I will give a tip because I realized. So I had a session yesterday with a new client, and it was so difficult for me because, so on Zoom, like you can have. So I had never met this person, and they had their camera off, and I had no idea as we're talking, because I'm also a coach, as we're talking, I couldn't see how they were reacting. And it really, really like threw my game off, and I could just see myself. And so, what I do to make sure that I'm not focusing on myself just in general, but it was especially important during that call, um, I have multiple screens. And so I position it so that my face is in between two screens. So it's like cut off and I can't see myself. And I find
Yeah.
that like really helps me tune in to the other person, because with coaching, you want to tune in to the person that you're speaking to and not to yourself.
Yes, definitely. Yes. Yes, I can see that it helps. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's great.
we're coming up on about an hour. I want
Mm.
I want to give you an opportunity to tell people like how to reach out to you, where they get your book, everything like that.
Yeah, so I'm on social media, of course, Facebook, Instagram, DM me or like whatever. I'm under my name, Nellah Mx, NELLAH MX. You can also email me. Email is the same, basically my name, Nellah Mx at gmail.com. And yes, my book is on Amazon. So please get it, read it. It's a good read. I have really good feedback on it. And the name is, one more time, it's A Stripper from Japan through Switzerland into the deepest secrets of her soul.
I love that. And so I'm just curious. So all of your exotic dancing, that was overseas, that was
Mhm.
in all different countries.
Yeah, I went to uh, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, Greece, Italy, Japan, Iceland. I think that's it. I don't know. Maybe I forgot something.
Yeah,
Whatever.
that's a lot. And you went, yeah, that's a, how long did you do that?
Yeah, it is a lot because at that time, actually, it was no European Union. So like you had to go through like borders and all the checks and everything. Yeah, so that was kind of crazy. Yeah, yeah. It was. I was working maybe like long time ago, maybe like 15 years ago, 12 years ago.
Wow.
That's it. Done with that.
Wow. Yeah, that was just like, I was like, oh my God,
Yeah,
so many. When you started with the name of your book, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that it was so many
yeah.
countries. And yeah, it that must have been really intense. And I really hope that people go out and get your book and read about your journey. When with people, do you do group coaching or is it only one-on-one?
Okay, so I do mostly one-on-one. I participated in some retreats, uh, which is basically group. I do mostly breath work there. It's mostly like Kundalini breathing. Yeah, and like this type of like very deep breathing. Um, yeah, so I do both, but I would say that I have the most experience with individual.
Awesome. And then do you have a website that people can go to learn more?
Yes, I do. I think if you just Google my name, you will get it. Because honestly, I don't know its name. I know this is terrible. Yeah, but I forgot my website. How it is.
I'm gonna post. I have it actually, so
Oh,
I'm gonna
thank you
make
so
sure that
much.
I post it for everyone. All of the ways to contact you.
Yes,
So
please. Yeah.
yeah,
Yes, do it. Yeah. Yeah. I always like people talking to me, contacted me. It's fun. It's good. I like it. Yeah.
yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for being here, Nella. I really appreciate it. I hope that people reach out to you and get your book, and your story is amazing. And yeah, I feel like you are such a like a shining light to anyone that is going through something and can see that like you went through what for you was hell, right? And you came out and you have such this positive attitude, and you're just like radiating with like knowledge and just happiness. And I really, yeah, I'm so inspired by that.
Oh my gosh. Oh, thank you so much for like saying this. That's so nice. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and we always do our best, right? And that's all we can do. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're listening to this now, or you're listening to this on the replay or in YouTube or however it is. Make sure to like, subscribe, share, get this to somebody who needs to hear it, because I know that there are people listening out there, or people that aren't listening that need to be listening, and just need to hear this story to change their lives. So I hope that you take the time to pass this on to someone else.
Oh yes, and I'm gonna definitely subscribe. Yes, yes, and like many likes.
Thank you so much, and have an amazing night. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Bye bye, everyone.